Okay, so just started. So far, we have seen that what are the basic concept of JavaScript. So let's revise once that what are the basic things about JavaScript we should know. Just like so far, we have seen that CSS and HTML. We know that whenever we need to create any web page or web document, then in case we have to use the HTML code or HTML language. Next, we have learned the CSS if we want to change the behavior. Then it is coming the JavaScript. So, what is actually the JavaScript? JavaScript is the thing through which we can create the web page as a dynamic version. Dynamic version means where direct user interaction can be there. Just like if we say, for example, when we are doing any online form fill up type or any type of online interaction activity, so that time those page are actually contained with JavaScript so that it will be enabled with user or user interaction. So now the how we can use the JavaScript or how simply we can do the JavaScript coding in our simple terms. So that we have to see. So before that, just I'm recalling few concept. What are the things of when we should use the JavaScript? In case of JavaScript, we have to set the browser. If our browser setting is not enabling with the JavaScript, then JavaScript may not run. So for that purpose, we have to enable the JavaScript in our browser. So here few settings are there. In case of Chrome, in case of particularly Chrome, I am showing you that how we can set the browser for to enable the JavaScript. So in case of Chrome, just you go to the setting of this Chrome. Here you can go to the setting and simply without searching here and there, you just search here for the JavaScript or Java simple Java. So here you will get the option site setting. Basically, in by default it is basically allowed. So here you can see the JavaScript option is there. Now if you click here, if you just uncheck this option or if you opt this option, so JavaScript code will be simply not allowed in the HTML code. So in this way, how we can enable? If it is not enabled, just enable it from in this through the setting. It is comes under the privacy and security setting. This is the point you should know. This is not as per the question answer, but you should know about this thing. These are the basic tools and things. So now today we'll discuss that how we can create a simple JavaScript code and we can run it using our HTML documentation. So before that, this is very important point. You have to know that JavaScript is an interpreted computer language. So at the very first day only when I was discussing about the Java or Java code, that time I told that compiler and interpreter, there are two types of translator are there. So basically this JavaScript comes under the interpreted language. Interpreted language, that means it is interpreted line by line. Means whenever any error or anything is there, so line by line it will be executed. So if any error is there, it will be simply notified. The error will be notified. So now actually how JavaScript actually started. So it is actually started so that client side script could interact with the user and control the browser, communicate asynchronously and alter the content of the document. So as I was telling, the dynamic word. Dynamic means what? When user of the web page is interacting with the web page. For example, if we simply run any of our web page, earlier web pages that we have created either using CSS or HTML. For example, this is a simple one web page. If you run this web page, this is one static web page. That means here no user interaction is there. No user interaction is there. That means whatever is displayed, that is full and final. No changes can be done by the user of the web page or simply viewer of the web page. But suppose in simple example, if we take simple forms means Google Forms or any kind of online activity that we do every time. So there, what we see that user can simply enter their own data, and that data is stored using the web pages. So that is done by the JavaScript content. So JavaScript next point is not useful as standalone language but is designed for easy embedding in other product like applications such as web browser. That means what? Just like other programming language, Java, Python, or any other program, C, C++, these programming language are standalone programming language. That means what? Last day I was discussing about, I was showing that how Python actually works. So Python has different platform where we can run the Python code, where we can execute Python code. But for JavaScript, it does not contain any other platform actually. So if we want to use the JavaScript, we have to using the web browser. Through that only we can use the JavaScript content. And what are the different parts of the JavaScript? Just like for any language, parts of speech is there. For any language, parts of speech, in the same way any programming language also have different areas or different object through which the whole programming language is created. So inside the JavaScript also, there is no difference. Array concept will be there, date, math, and core set of language like operator, control structure, and statement will be there. Operator also we have started discussion, just like arithmetic operator, plus, minus, addition, multiply, division. This type kind of operator. Control structure means we have not seen, but will within few very short time we'll see to it. That control structure means the different logical operation, that if we want to give some condition, so that also we can use using JavaScript. That means all the features of any core programming language are present inside the JavaScript, except one point is there. It is not useful as a standalone language. Means if we want to practice as a simple programming language, it will be not very much useful. But all the features of any simple programming language are present inside the JavaScript. This is the thing. So next is history. History means from where JavaScript actually created, or no, it is actually comes into the market. It was first created in Netscape Navigator. All of you have heard the name. It is one of the web browser. So it was actually comes into the market in 1996. After that, lot of changes has been made, and now it is actually comes under the Sun microsystem, who is the from where actually Java language was actually created, or owner of the Java earlier. But recently, Java is owned by the Oracle company. So next thing is there. These are the few terms. Standard means what are the different updation is made in case of this JavaScript language. Different types of different updation is made. So recently we are using, just like Microsoft introduced JavaScript supported in its own web browser, in Internet Explorer, in August 1996. Means from the year 1996, actually JavaScript was widely used in any web browsing software. So now the thing is that what are the feature? What we can do using JavaScript, or why we should learn the JavaScript, the things. First of all, JavaScript handles simple as well as complex tasks, make it robust language. That means what? Whenever we are simply creating one HTML document, rather than creating some static page, if we want to create any dynamic version of page, that means where user interaction will be there. So that time it will be very much useful language. Next, just we need a browser or text editor. Some specific feature of JavaScript are there. First of all, browser support. What are the browser support? Browser means most of the browser is actually support the JavaScript. Just like whenever any other kind of things, additional content, just like Flash, we need to install the Flash plugin. But whenever we need to use the JavaScript, we no need to install any kind of plugins. Flash were earlier used if we want to run any kind of animation or video inside our web page. But for the JavaScript, no need to use any kind of plugins. Next, JavaScript can be used on client side as well as server side. Means what I was telling, that dynamic version. That means suppose if one user is entering some value to the web page, so if the web page is accepting value, so both sides JavaScript can work. That means when client is working, or simply the client of the web page is giving some data onto the web page, into the web page, and also web page is displaying some data, both side JavaScript can be used. So that is only called that's why this line is told called client side as well as server side. This is the point. And functional programming language, it is very important term. We'll know about the function within few days. Function is quite known as modularity, or to break one whole program, whole task into smaller module, so that tasks will be quite easier. So regarding this, we'll discuss in a separate unit. Support for object, obviously. This JavaScript is a quite object oriented language, OOP. First day only I have discussed regarding that example, promoter one example. So that is supported in Java. Just a second. Okay. So it supports object oriented programming language. So actually, it is supported by both C and C++ and Java, and JavaScript support most of the object-oriented concept. So also we'll use in our JavaScript code, and finally few more features. Runtime environment. Runtime environment means whenever we'll use the JavaScript code, so we'll inside the web browser, we'll use the simply script element. Within the script element, we'll run the JavaScript code. And vendor specific extension means JavaScript officially managed by Mozilla Foundation, and new language feature added periodically. However, only some JavaScript engine supports this new feature. Means what? Whatever updation actually take place, so it is updated by the Mozilla Corporation. And object-based features supported by Java. So that is object-oriented programming language. Now, what are the advantages? Advantages are quite very much important. Just like first of all, JavaScript gives HTML designer tool a very simple syntax, so that designer can put small snippet of code into HTML pages. That means what? Whenever we need to create quite typical version of code using the JavaScript, it becomes very easier. JavaScript can put dynamic text. Dynamic text means that is directly simply interacted by the user, or simply the client and the server both can react to events. For example, set to execute when something happens. Means what? For example, sometime we can see, or simply whenever we are filling any online form, that time we have seen that when we do the submit button, when we click on the submit button, so the forms are submitted. So using this kind of feature, simply more interaction can be there. That means whenever we are setting this kind of buttons or this kind of event, so that it will trigger some action, so that can be done using the JavaScript. And ultimately, JavaScript can read and change the content of HTML document. Through that, we can change the HTML version. And ultimately few more features are there. So these are the different type of areas where we can also apply the JavaScript. First of all, developing multimedia application, creating page dynamically, what I was telling, interact with user, JavaScript objects similar to dictionary also, and lot of different applications are there. So now we'll go for the simple syntax or simple use of the JavaScript. So whenever we need to use any JavaScript code, we have to use either under the script tag or script element of the HTML. Then script, then we have to mention the language, JavaScript, type text or JavaScript. This is the basic syntax. And if we want to, yes, last day only I was discussing about the variables, identifiers. So that time I was discussing about that we could in Java, in proper Java language, we have to mention the type, data type of the data. So in case of Java, actual JavaScript, when we will do, So that we no need to mention. Just like here, we can see two variables are there, where 1 equals to 10 and where 2 equals to 10. So both data are of integer type, but here it is not mentioned that it is of integer type or it is of integer type. It is not mentioned. So by default, JavaScript will understand. And next very important point is there. Just like when we want to write multiple lines of code within the JavaScript or within the script tag, so we can separate by using simply space or tab, but also we can separate using the semicolon. But also we can separate using the semicolon. Here we can see where 1 equals to 10 semicolon, where 2 equals to 20. This semicolon is called in programming language, it is called terminator. So terminator actually it tells the browser or it tells the interpreter that it is the end of that particular line. So this is the basic syntax. So let's go for one simple example. Suppose this is the one simple HTML document is there. HTML head title. First, here I'm writing. Okay, just a second. When we want to enable the JavaScript, just like CSS, also it can be enabled inline, external, or internal. Both the ways it can be enabled. But very it will be useful whenever we will use as internal or inline. So presently here I am taking one simple example, just like first JavaScript page. Suppose here I am writing first JavaScript page. So as I was telling that JavaScript code also can be inserted in our HTML document by three ways only, that is internal, external, or inline. When we have to use as external, then we have to save the file as js.js, that is term of JavaScript. Now presently we'll see that how we can do the internal or inline one. So how we can enable it, we have to use the element script element inside the JavaScript. So script, this is the basic tag or element. Within script tag, we have to mention the particular code through which will work. So if we want to display some kind of text in our browser, so a few new things we have to know. Just like if we want to write something in our screen, so in that case we can write document.write. So this is the basic code we have to need to know. These are the basic function document.write. So what will happen? Write means what? It will write on the screen. Document.write. Suppose here I'm just writing welcome to JavaScript. Welcome to JavaScript. Here simply I'm writing, and after writing this code, I'm just giving one terminator or semicolon. Semicolon actually tells that it is the end of the statement. Then here I'm ending the script code actually. So now if we shape the code and let's run the code once. So here we can see it is coming with welcome to JavaScript. So in this way, this is the very first code how we can enable the JavaScript. If we want to change the code, for example, if we want to make it bold, italic, underline, so that also we can do. So just here we'll directly use our tags. If we use our tags, use the tags and a behavioral tag. So simply we can use under this. And then again, if we simply run the page, here we can see that welcome to JavaScript now coming under bold. So whatever we'll put under document.write, that should be comes under double quotes. This is one simple example. Suppose now what I was telling, that if we want to write multiple code or multiple line, executable line, then we could write the things in separate line. First of all, these things we have to remember. Second, the very important point is there, we have to use this terminator. Terminator actually tells the browser or tells the interpreter that the end of the line. So here simply I am writing hello world. So now it will come into the browser. Here, welcome to JavaScript, hello world. We can simply assign the break statement also. So here if we use the simply break statement, line break, line break. Here, in this way we can simply create the JavaScript. Now the second thing I was discussing about the variable. So how we can use the variable. Okay, before variable, one another simple function of JavaScript. Let me show. Just like there is another function, alert. Alert function is there. Now, how alert works actually? Let's see. Here we'll write welcome. In the alert, we'll write welcome. So, how alert work? Let's see. Suppose if you run the code, so here you can see within the page one pop-up is coming. The page says welcome, the particular message that we have given. So this is called only alert. So that means if you want to give any type of pop-up in our screen, that time we can use the alert function using the JavaScript. So just like here also welcome to JavaScript, also you can give welcome to JavaScript. So in this way we can use the alert function. Let's see. Here, welcome to JavaScript. So this is the use of alert function. Now, if we simply close this one, let's see whether it is working or not. Yes, it is working. So as already I have told that whenever we'll use two slash, that means it is called actually the command line. Command line means what? That will be non-executable line. That means since here within the script tag it is following the JavaScript syntax or simply the Java syntax, so all the Java syntax will be followed here. So in case of JavaScript, the two slash are actually means for to make anything as a non-executable line. So here it is mentioned like that. Double slash means one command line or non-executable line. That's why this line now becomes non-executable. And one thing you can see here, that without using the semicolon also it works, but actually it is good practice to give semicolon. That means whenever we are changing the line by giving simply enter button, or simply we are coming to the next line, or simply if we keep space between the two statement, automatically Java can work with that. But the thing is that if we give any particular this terminator or semicolon, it is good practice to give, because whenever we'll write multiple lines of code, so that this becomes as a good separator, so that it can be used properly. So this is the thing. So tell me, any question is there within today's part? If any doubt or question is there? If anybody has any question. Does anybody have any? Okay. Okay. Then here I'm ending the class. Okay. One more thing. Tomorrow's class, that is from 8:30 onwards, it may be changed because tomorrow class 12, some practical things are there, projects works are there. So for tomorrow class, it may be possible that I will create one pre-recorded video. I'll share with you. Go through that one again. If any doubt will be there, next day I will discuss that regarding that. Okay. Okay. Then I'm ending this session. here only. Thank you. Okay.